Well, we're going to give Carmel Wiseman a little phone call. Yesterday I met with a man by the name of Scott. And Scott had just gone through court process against Carmel Wiseman of the Law Society of British Columbia for apparently practicing law. And because of this, they sought a court order. And what she used against him was Section 15 of the Legal Profession Act. So I'm going to call her up and I'm going to see what she thinks about Section 1.1. Now, bear in mind, according to the Attorney General, well, I made a phone call to them. We'll hear what they have to say about equality and judicial independence of judicial justices of the peace. So what I want to see is whether or not she is doing this knowingly and willfully, or has she completely lost her mind.
Hello, Carmel Wiseman speaking.
Hello, Carmel. Rob Menard here. I'm wondering if you have a quick moment.
How are you, Mr. Menard?
Oh, yeah, you caught yourself on the mister, didn't you, Carmel? I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Oh, no, I didn't. I was half distracted.
I see. I met with a gentleman named Scott yesterday. I understand you had the pleasure of meeting him in court and whatnot.
I don't really discuss what I do with other people.
I understand it, but what I'm doing, I guess I should give you a little background. I'm writing a little article for a paper. It's a national newspaper called the Agora, and it's essentially a grassroots kind of production. And what it's going to be about is the applicability of Section 1.1. Now, I know you're familiar with the Legal Profession Act. Section 1.1 of the Act states that lawyers who have been appointed judicial justices of the peace are not subject to the Act. But I called the Attorney General's office and I spoke with those nice people, and they said that all judicial justices of the peace must enjoy the same level of independence and immunity. So when I look at Section 1.1, my interpretation is that based on what you guys do and what you do, specifically, you must believe that the Legal Profession Act is applicable against everyone, and yet when you read Section 1.1, it becomes obvious that it's really only applicable against lawyers unless they've been appointed to act as a part-time judicial justice of the peace, because if it is applicable to everyone, as you say, but only lawyers who have been appointed judicial justices are exempt, then judicial justices of the peace who are never been lawyers would be subject to it, and then you would end up having judicial justices not sharing the same level of independence. And according to the Attorney General's office, they would side with me on this case, and they would say that no, we must use logic and reason and end up where all judicial justices are treated equally. And for that to happen, the only way you can interpret the Legal Profession Act is that it's only applicable against lawyers. So I'm wondering what your position on Section 1.1 is.
Well, I think that you've neglected to read a portion of Section 1.1. What 1.1 actually says is that the Act, the Legal Profession Act, does not apply to a lawyer who's both a lawyer and a part-time judicial justice, so on, in that person's capacity as a part-time judicial justice.
Okay, fair enough. Yes,
but it's while acting as a judicial justice that the Act is inapplicable to them.
Okay, but what about someone who is not a lawyer but is acting as a judicial justice? Would you say that the Act is applicable to that judicial justice, even though he's not mentioned in that section? And the only way one could get to, so answer the question, please, Carmel. Would you feel that a judicial justice of the peace who is not a lawyer is subject to that Act, yes or no?
First of all, I think that if you want an answer to that, the appropriate thing to do is to write in and ask for that. And
why don't you just want to discuss with me? And I do have another question while I get you on the line. You hung up a little abruptly last time. I'm hoping you don't do it this time. But on the Legal Profession Act, or on the Law Society of BC website, your public notice board, there's a section there. Someone pointed out that my name was apparently on there at one time, and I've looked now and it says that one item has been removed because certain information has come to light. So I'm wondering if you would share with the public and with our readership and viewers what information came to light and what item was removed.
I don't remember off the top of my head. It involved another matter not involving you, and I can't recall what that is off the top of my head, Mr. Menard.
I see, and again, I'd ask that you not refer to me as a mister. I'm not a mate on your ship, but I understand it's just a social convention. You might not understand what you're saying. But Section 1.1 of the Act, do you claim that it is applicable to judicial justices who are not lawyers, or is it your position that a judicial justice...
In their capacity as judicial justices.
A judicial justice who is not a lawyer is not subject to that Act. Is that what you're saying? While they're acting in their capacity as a judicial justice.
The Legal Profession Act does not purport to apply to judges or judicial justices while they are acting in that capacity.
Yes, but your interpretation, there's a division in Section 1.1 where if we have to operate specifically on what was said and what is there, then we find that you will create a division where because judicial justices who have never been lawyers are not mentioned there. So since I'm not mentioned there and they're not mentioned there, the argument must be that they too are bound. And there's nothing there that says a judicial justice who is not a lawyer is not governed by this Act when he's acting as a judicial justice. So there's a big presumption there.
Mr. Menard, why don't you send in your question to me and I'll consider it and get back to you.
Okay, well, I thank you for that offer, but I think I might have another option available to me that I might look at instead.
That's entirely up to you. If you'd like to send me something, I'll consider it.
Okay,
and
well,
on that note, I must go because I'm going to be late for a meeting.
Well, thank you for your time, Carmel. You
You're
have
welcome.
a fantastic day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, as you can see, well, I guess you can't see it, but it's December 10th. That was filed, Small Claims Court. They filed it as Freeman-on-the-Land Robert-Arthur of the Menard Family. And this is the statement of claim. It's actually a schedule. I was going to do it as an affidavit, but then I found out that it wasn't necessary to do it that way, and that I could attest to all of this information later. But for the most part, this is in the form of an affidavit, and it certainly is my truth. So what I'm going to do is going to share with you all essentially what I put in there. 16 points. Point number 1, I'm a free man on the land, commonly known as Robert Arthur of the Menard family. I was born in Canada and presently live within that geographical area. And the director of the World Freeman Society, an entity created in part as an answer to the injustices described herein. I have attended and acted lawfully in court for others, and in so doing I've come under the scrutiny of the people in the Law Society of British Columbia. It seems they wish to maintain a complete monopoly upon justice in British Columbia. 3. Carmel Wiseman tried to extort me into an agreement claiming Section 15 of the Legal Profession Act precluded and enjoined me from engaging in certain lawful actions unless I first joined her society, something I consider to be almost a cult. She told me that she would get a court order barring me from engaging in certain actions and I would have to pay the costs of the order if I did not enter into an agreement with them. As the agreement was not in my best interest, nor did it serve my conscience or faith, I did not trust her or her society. I did not enter into an agreement with them. I did not agree to adjudication, nor was I afforded a hearing in a court of